Hey guys, it's time for the last text takeaways of the season. We are here finishing up season 1 at the House to House Studios. We're so grateful for them giving us the opportunity to be here. We'll find and put all their information down in the show notes and description below. We're also here representing the Memphis School of Preaching, who oversees the work of Scattered Abroad, and we're grateful for that. If you're interested in preaching the gospel, we'd be happy to help you. And House to House is a very instrumental tool in doing that in the ways that their ministry is going. And so reach out to them for the needs of your congregation if you can. They'll be happy to help provide what they're able to do. Let's begin by reading 1 John 3, 1 through 8. And then, as is always going to be the case, I've said it for several episodes, just want to make sure we're all on the same page. We're taking a break after this episode, and we won't be back till August. And we'll have our summer content. Did that really happen? On Thursdays and Through Their Eyes on Tuesdays. And we're looking forward to sitting down with some preachers and some other people to sit down and talk to them about specific Bible subjects and then have some fun telling some stories. But let's start with 1 John 3, 1 through 8 and give our text takeaways. Behold, what manner of love the Father has bestowed on us, that we should be called children of God. Therefore the world does not know us, but because it did not know him. Beloved, now we are children of God, and it has not yet been revealed what we shall be, but we know that when he is revealed, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. And everyone who has this hope in him purifies himself just as he is pure. Whoever commits sin is also committing lawlessness. Sin is lawlessness. And you know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him there is no sin. Whoever abides in him does not sin. Whoever sins has neither seen him nor known him. Little children, let no one deceive you. He who practices righteousness is righteous, just as he is righteous. He who sins is of the devil, for the devil has sinned from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God came, was manifested that he might destroy the works of the devil. Text takeaway number 1. The family of God is a blessing that should not be squandered. Remember, what manifold love has been manifested to us, bestowed upon us, that we could be called the children of God. We're not going to be perfect, but we can still imitate the Lord. Remember 1 Corinthians 11:1, imitate me as I imitate Christ. That's what Paul's talking about. That's the whole purpose. And though you and I are unlike him now, outside of being made in his image, one day we'll look and be like him in glory. We're in the process of development. He's already complete and perfect in every way. We're the children of God, and we continue to grow and lean upon the Father. Someday, we'll bear that perfect image, Revelation 22:14. Once made in our likeness was the Son of God, Philippians 2 and verse 7, came to this earth in the form of a servant in man's flesh, and now we hope to be transformed into the image in the likeness of his body. And we see all of these things culminating in longing for that on our end, that we want to look like him. We want to be like him. The apostles were privileged to see him in fleshly form. We talked about that, but we'll see him in glorified form. John tells us about the future in 1 John 3, 2 through 6. He's giving us the unknown. We don't yet know what it's going to be, but we'll see it at some day. And by following after him, we'll one day look and be like him. Romans 8 and verse 17 says, if children, we're heirs, and heirs of God and joint heirs with Christ, if indeed we suffer with him, that we may also be glorified together. And we get a good picture of this in Matthew 17, 1 through 5, that is a glimpse of what the glory of Jesus will look like. We should long for this. It should be every single portion of our day spent thinking, no, I don't want to commit that transgression because I long to be with God in glory. Text takeaway number 2. We can remain pure. It is possible. Now, not perfect, pure. I am not a perfect husband. I'm a faithful husband. I'm not a perfect Christian, but I can be a faithful Christian. It's very important as we look at the idea of remaining pure that we remind ourselves of what 1 Corinthians 10:13 says, that God doesn't allow us to be tempted without a way to escape. There's not a trap door we can jump down, as we've talked about already this season, but we have the ability to look at examples and get away from them. And so imitation of Christ is possible. It's possible because we can see him as our example, looking like him in all aspects of our lives. Look at 1 John 4:17. Love has been perfected among us in this, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we in this world. You could even maybe translate that better to say, so are we expected to be in this world, to be like him. Not the exact image of Jesus. We're never going to be that, but the copy, the carbon copy that you try to be as close to as possible is Jesus Christ. Text takeaway number 3. Christ came to redeem us from having a life with Satan as a father. Have you ever heard the stories of people who get into nasty custody battles? Mothers and fathers don't always get along. Mothers are not what they need to be at times. Fathers certainly can be the same. And there are these custody battles that take place where you go before a court setting and you have to decide who's going to get the kids. This custody battle is decided by us. God has made it clear what he wants for us. God has shown us that his way is best, but we have to make the decision of who we are going to go to. Both are calling your name. Who will you choose? To live a life of sin is to be a follower of Satan. It's not hard to notice that. The devil was one who sinned from the beginning. We talked about that in John 8:44, that he was a murderer from the beginning, a liar from the beginning, and in spite of all of that, Satan still has many children. At one time, all of us were children of Satan. Romans 3:23 says, all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. By taking what John 8:44 says, you are of your father the devil, and the lusts or desires of your father you want to do. You're looking to do them. You make the decision to follow him, to serve him. Jesus even stated that these identifying marks of Satan's children can be found today, John 8:44, John 3:8, 1 John 3:8. John gives us the reason that Jesus came in 1 John 3:5, and yet at the same time, he's coming to destroy the works of the devil, not just neutralize, not just kind of alleviate, but to completely take them to oblivion. If we walk in Jesus, then guess what? We have the privilege of helping, seeing him destroy the works, and we have the ability to help be a part of that reason. We won't let the devil get us and ensnare us. We can't say there's no redemption for us. There is a distinctive mark from the righteous and the unrighteous. In verses 7 through 12, John warns about pretenders, and he also gives us the distinctive mark between righteousness and unrighteousness. He gives us some positive marks here. Those who practice righteousness, a habitual action. The righteousness is more of a profession. It's more than a profession, a sentiment and emotion. It's our whole being. It's everything that we are. It's all that we do. It's also seen, though, in the same way when we talk about sin. Sin is also seen in a habitual sense, that if we do that, we become children of Satan, following after the very murderer that has taken and robbed everything from us. Text takeaway number 4. The Lord and Satan are at war. They're at war. This is why Christ came into the world. It's for the express purpose. Satan made an attack on humanity, and God made a counterattack. You're not going to win. My son will come and die in their stead. What hope would we have without that sacrifice? What beautiful nature when we think about this season's theme of Gnosticism and knowledge of assurance and knowing about walking in the light, abiding in the light, loving the brethren. What does it do if God is not capable of counter-striking? If the devil's attack on humanity back in the Garden of Eden, which was ultimately an attack on God, was enough to destroy us forever, what does that do going forward? Where do we go? What hope do we have? None. Christ came to destroy the works of Satan. And this is where we bring this to a close. Christ came to seek and save the lost, Luke 19:10, his whole purpose. But I want to go back to Genesis chapter 3 and verse 15. I will put enmity between you and the woman, between your seed and her seed. He'll bruise your head, you'll bruise his heel. I've never had the distinct problem, I would say privilege, but it's not, of being bitten by a snake. But I've heard of people who've been bitten before by a snake, and what they then do after being bitten is they take something out and they kill the snake, whether it's their heel, whether it's, maybe they've got a gun, they shoot the snake dead, whatever it is. The last laugh is had by who? Well, not the snake. Especially if the venom is taken care of, that snake will be dead and you'll continue living. Think of the beautiful picture that God has painted for us in Genesis 3:15. Yes, Satan, it will look like you're successful, but you're not. You'll bruise his heel, but he'll deliver a death blow to you. Children of God versus children of Satan. We all have to make a distinction of where we will find ourselves in that war. I want to take the time as we end this season to, again, thank House to House for what they've done, giving us the opportunity to be here. Grateful for the chance to record here at their studios. They're a pleasure to work with. I'm grateful for all that they're doing in the kingdom. And if there's ways that they can help you, I know they'd be happy to take your call and see what types of mailing materials they can get out your way and how they can do the mailers. The mailers are one of the best things. They've got a school of evangelism. There's polishing the pulpit. There's all these events that House to House is instrumental in having a hand in the pie, so to speak, and you could benefit from them as well. Don't miss out. It's worth it. Also want to make sure to close out by saying thank you to the Memphis School of Preaching. We're looking forward to having new students starting here soon, and you could be one of them by applying. You can email us at admissions@msop.org. We would be happy to talk to you about how you can spend your days studying the Bible verse by verse and getting text takeaways every day from our great instructors. Finally, we also want to thank the Scattered Abroad Network. If you have questions for us, comments, you can email us at san@msop.org. Until next season, what will you take away from the text today?